So obviously, once you get your mindset right, you will notice that there will be a shift in your mindset and your perception. And as soon as there's a negative thought of something like, oh, this might not work, or somebody else is taking it away from me, you have to really analyze it and recognize in your brain, hey, hold on a second, what am I thinking here right now? Where's this negativity coming from? And it usually goes deeper than what you think. Once you go deep down and do that search within, you will find out that you really have to do a lot of soul searching, because this is an automatic thing that we have in our brains, where usually negativity and bringing things down, or being negative and being a cynic, is so easy. It's almost like that thought is always here, present with us in our brain, and then we have to reverse that. We have to actually eliminate it. It's not easy, but you have to be aware of it. Gone are the days of being a tortured artist, a starving artist. That's one of the messages that I want to promote on this channel, really. And I want to be as educated as possible when it comes down to be very business savvy and try to teach others do the same thing. Meaning that if you have a laptop and a software, you can make music. All you need to do is wear a different hat and actually think that you can actually make some money on the side or full time or whatever. But there is opportunity for us out there. I have mentioned this before. Just because somebody else is being successful doing what you want to do, that doesn't mean that you cannot do the same thing. Actually, it's proof that you can actually be successful as well. Hello guys, and thank you for tuning in. My name is Carrizalez from stockmusiclicensing.com. Now today I want to talk to you about why it's important to have a positive mindset. Now I was just listening to Brian and Chris from the Six Figure Home Studio podcast, and it's a fascinating podcast. I really like and enjoy listening to them. And the latest episode, they were talking about mindset, and I haven't finished the whole episode, but it's really interesting. In the beginning, they're talking about how we, as musicians, as an artist, or as an individuals, really, one of the things that hold us back is our negativity or a negative mindset. And when it comes down to abundance and scarcity, and this is so close to my heart, and that's why I love these guys. They're doing a fantastic job with their podcast, and I've been following them for some time now. And if you haven't heard of them, you can go to the Six Figure Home Studio and .com, or you can just go and Google that podcast as well. Now, even though I'm not in the recording or in the studio business of bringing in clients and recording musicians, I do believe that they're part of the niches that I'm in and that you're in as well, which is just musicians and recording and sound engineering. And it's a fantastic resource, I think, for all of us. Even if they're not talking about stock music, they're not talking about music licensing in general. They're actually usually interviewing other musicians, and they really try to help people that have studios, recording spaces, and actually build a business around that. And that, again, is something that is really close to my heart, because I'm doing the same thing. I'm trying to not only educate others that you can earn some money with royalty-free sites and uploading your music online, but at the same time, this is what I had to do in the beginning as well to build my business, which is just get my mindset right from the get-go, and actually how can I monetize on my skills and on my art. So these guys are talking about pretty much the same thing, only in the recording studio space, and it's fascinating to see how they do it. Anyways, one of the when I was listening to the podcast this morning when I was going for my walk, it really I can sympathize so much with it, and it really hits home for me, because I had to fix a lot of my own mindset and my own negativity in my head, and the whole scarcity, and think more abundant in terms of like there is enough for us out there, for us musicians, and there's a lot of opportunities out there. There's so much that we sometimes are our worst enemy, because we're always thinking in terms of lack. There's not enough. Somebody else has already taken that slot for us, or that space. Somebody else is already being successful, so there's no way that we can shine. So this in the music industry is or in this case in stock music or royalty-free sites and the music licensing business especially, is I think that's something that all composers have this belief as well. There's a lot of negativity on forums. There's a lot of mystery that nobody knows who this composer is or where. Or better still, we don't know where you are actually licensing your music, because it's this magical, or is this very secretive. It's a very this like secret society of I license my music with a whole bunch of libraries, but I cannot share that with you because I'm afraid that you might join in that library and take my gig. So this is a mentality in the music licensing world that somehow these are like the unwritten rules of engagement somehow between us composers. And when I got into the whole royalty free site thing, and I saw that people were hiding behind some kind of like alias or an image, and my name is Blue Whale or whatever, and or Music 1 2 3 4 5 Productions, and it's all like this secret. Like I don't know who that person is, but apparently he's a Grammy Award winning composer. I said to myself, well, okay, that seems like interesting, like be very anonymous, and but at the same time, I think it comes as well from a place of like, are you afraid to show your face and say, hey, I'm here, I'm a composer, I'm a musician, I'm working with this particular libraries actually, and I'm having tremendous success. Hey, you are a composer too. You should go and reach out, and maybe the music that you're making could be a good fit for them. Look at me, I'm doing this and working on this particular projects, and I have seen some success with it. So if you're in the same boat as I am, which means that we're composers and we're in the same niche, you can probably benefit as well from it. That comes from an abundant mentality, you see. And this is my goal with this channel, is to actually try to share my experience first of all, and document what I'm doing, and how I make money with royalty-free sites, and how I make the music, and connect with others that are doing this. I know that a lot of you guys are already doing this. There's other guys that want to get into it, and I'm not really sure how this works. And my goal with this channel is to first see that I am actually sharing, and hopefully oversharing as well, and say, hey, this is where I see success. This is what I do. This is what I don't do. And I'm trying to be very specific on how I license my music, and try to share as much as possible. And you can listen to my music as well. It's out there for you to check it out. I'm not hiding anything, and things that I want to accomplish as well. So that being said, the positive mindset, and thinking from a place of abundance in terms of like opportunities for us as composers and musicians and artists, it's just endless really out there. You have to come to terms with that. And we're not really competing between each other. We can be collaborators. And I do that with even with my YouTube channel. I try to share as well other things on my YouTube channel. If you notice, I'm as well promoting other guys that are doing pretty much what I'm doing. I have my friend Evan, and I'm as well promoting or channels that are really relatable to my niche as well. Jesse as well, and I don't see these guys as competition. And I have other guys. The guys from the Music Library Report as well. I have my friend Frank. You can go to my YouTube channel. You will see all the relatable channels, which is part of my niche. This is a community. I don't think that I am taking anything away from them, and they're not taking anything away from me. We're actually a big community of people who are doing pretty much the same thing. We want to get our music into the world and license it, and get money with that, and live a particular lifestyle. And I do believe that it is about a lifestyle. It's about a lifestyle of how can we be true to ourselves and be gone are the days of being a tortured artist, a starving artist. That's one of the messages that I want to promote on this channel, really. And I want to be as educated as possible when it comes down to be very business savvy, and try to teach others do the same thing. Meaning that if you have a laptop and a software, you can make music, All you need to do is wear a different hat and actually think that you can actually make some money on the side or full time or whatever, but there is opportunity for us out there. I have mentioned this before. Just because somebody else is being successful doing what you want to do, that doesn't mean that you cannot do the same thing. Actually, it's proof that you can actually be successful as well. And along the way, you usually have to get your mindset first in the right place. Think from a place of abundance, not limitations or scarcity. Like there's not enough. There is enough. There's a lot. Actually, there's plenty for all of us. You can be successful. I can be successful, and hey, we can actually celebrate together the successes. You can have your clients. I can have my clients. We can work as collaborators, and if we don't, we're still in the same niche, and we can say hello and have a good day, and there's nothing wrong with that. We don't have to be from a place of like holding on to this is my thing and I don't want you to see it and this is my secret weapon. I think that's as artists and as individuals as well as person, this is something that is we've been raised like that, and I think the media does this very well. And I'm not even going to get into politics, but it is that mentality of like, there's not enough, so you've got to be careful or run and do it very quickly and don't tell anybody, and coming from a place of fear, really. So obviously, once you get your mindset right, you will notice that there will be a shift in your mindset and your perception. And as soon as there's a negative thought of something like, oh, this might not work, or somebody else is taking it away from me, you have to really analyze it and recognize in your brain, hey, hold on a second, what am I thinking here right now? Where's this negativity coming from? And it usually goes deeper than what you think. Once you go deep down and do that search within, you will find out that you really have to do a lot of soul searching, because this is an automatic thing that we have in our brains, where usually negativity and bringing things down or being negative and being a cynic is so easy. It's almost like that thought is always here present with us in our brain, and then we have to reverse that. We have to actually eliminate it. It's not easy, but you have to be aware of it. The other thing will be to associate with people that are actually in that same frequency of positivity and thinking from a place of abundance and not scarcity. So when I listen to this podcast and these guys and people that are in the same kind of like niche as I am, and they talk about this, I feel like, you know what, I can be in tune with it. I can sympathize with it. I recognize it, and I want to be associated with it. Even if it's through a podcast or through a YouTube video. So my goal here is that for somebody that finds this kind of videos on my channel is to see that that even if we don't meet in person, hopefully when you see some of my videos, you can get that positivity and that mindset, that it is very necessary if you want to be successful in anything you do in life, really. Because it's all up here in our brains, and I'm telling you this from experience, and because when you work for yourself, you better get your shit together, and it all starts here first, because everything out there is telling you that you're gonna fail. So you better have a positive mindset and a strong sense of self, and that needs to be nurtured on a daily basis. So you gotta be careful with what you consume. So. Anyways, just a quick entry that I wanted to do today, just because I heard this podcast and I said, let me just share this very quickly with you guys. So again, if you want to go and check that episode, my friend Brian and Chris from the Six Figure Home Studio, the episode is 97, episode 97 of their podcast. I haven't finished the episode, but whatever I heard in the first few minutes, it was amazing. I said, I need to go home and talk about this, because sometimes I feel like I talk about this in my channel, and sometimes I want to go deeper, but I don't want to sound too much of a law of attraction or positive thinking, go hug a tree. But the reality is that we as musicians, as an artist, I say this again and again and again, it's so easy to be a cynic. It's so easy to be negative. It's so easy to say it's all very crap. Well, what's the use? Why should we even try? So again, thanks a lot for all the love and support. Thanks for watching the videos. Thanks for the comments. Leave in the comment section what's your take on this positive mindset, on this thoughts of coming from a place of abundance and not scarcity. And give me your thoughts, on this topic, if this is something that you can relate to, especially when it comes down to your business or when it comes down to making music for profit, because we are in the business of composing a music track to sell it on royalty free sites. And once again, rock and roll, and here's to your success.